So the Ultimate Fighter is back for its 31st season, and we have Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler as the coaches. Now, there's actually been very little information coming out about this upcoming series, but me and Dwain are going to question as to why there's so much buzz around it. But before we do that, as usual, if you're brand new here, don't forget to subscribe, as we've got brand new videos coming out every week. So Dwain, the first question that I'll ask you is, will you actually be tuning in for this season, just for the star power alone, for who the coaches are?
Yeah, I think you have to, don't you? I think with a name like Conor McGregor and the bigger star as he is, you have to be watching this, right? Just for the memes alone, because this is going to be so funny. It's going to be so entertaining. I think you have to watch it, right?
Well, I think I'm in the same boat as well, to be honest. I haven't actually watched an Ultimate Fighter season since Rampage and Rashad in 2011, I think that was, 10 or 11, something like that. Just because it got a little dull, it got a bit frat boyish, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like you said, for who the coaches are, look at McGregor. McGregor can fart and people are there like flies around crap. So this will be so interesting, especially the build-up for the fight itself. Now, do you think, with Conor being as big a star as he is, that the Ultimate Fighter was almost beneath him, like a step down sort of thing, do you think?
It's a tricky one because when it first got announced, I thought that's a bit weird. Why is Conor doing this? Because usually it's not someone that big doing it, is it? It's not usually that big of a star power who's coaching it. But to be honest, I think it makes sense. I think he's been out of the UFC and sort of that MMA bubble for such a long time. I think it's nice to sort of get himself back in there, training with some guys. So I don't know if it's necessarily beneath him, but it's not what I expected, no.
No, well, I remember when it first got announced who the coaches were, I was listening to, I can't remember who it was on, but Laura Sanko was on there, and she made a really good point. She said, I think it's just more him going back to his roots. That kind of, it's almost like giving back to the company, as in, because, you know, you're training these new up and coming guys, that kind of thing. It's not just because, like, look, as much as I wouldn't appreciate it, or a lot of fans wouldn't appreciate it, should I say, Conor could just do one fight every 2 years and it'd sell out like crazy, like hotcakes. But with this way, it's almost like giving back, like you say, you know what I mean? And speaking of which, my next question, do you believe that with this season of The Ultimate Fighter, with how big of a star not just Conor is, but Chandler as well, but especially Conor, that with these new up-and-coming fighters, it's giving them the best possible start of a career in the UFC because of who the coaches are. You look at other silly things like that's happened on The Ultimate Fighter when people start kicking off and all that kind of thing. They'll be remembered as that because they either kicked off with Conor McGregor, etc., that kind of thing.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because there's no doubt that this is probably going to be the most watched Ultimate Fighter of all time, you know, whether it's online or on TV, whatever. So this does bring more eyes to the fighters, but I feel like with Conor and Chandler, there's going to be a real focus on turning this into a reality show about them, and maybe actually the fighters will be kind of the second thought, which is a real shame because that's the whole point of the fight. It's to be the ultimate fighter. So I think it's a real 50-50. We can either get loads of attention on these fighters or we're not going to care about them. We're just going to go, like, I'm not interested in these guys. I'm just going to wind through. I'm going to skip the fights and I'm just going to see whatever the meme machine Conor's doing and just see what's going on there. And I think that's going to be the real big problem there.
Yeah, the actual contestants who are getting battered every week, they're like filler episodes. They're like the Fly episode of Breaking Bad. That kind of thing.
But it is, though, isn't it? That's exactly what's going to happen, I think, unfortunately. The fight's going to be the least interesting part.
They'll be sat there. Chandler's been training these guys. You know, this is the third training session of the day. Took them out for smoothies and all that kind of thing. Conor comes in at 7 a.m., still with a bottle of proper 12 in his hand with his boys. That's it. On horseback. That's exactly why people are tuning in. But do you believe, right, with Conor, he can basically do what he wants, essentially, injury or no injury, USADA pool or no USADA pool. He can do as he pleases, like, and not really being active. And with Chandler admitting numerous times he's no spring chicken himself. The actual fight, Dwain, do you believe that we could see a retirement looming for whoever loses, do you think? I know it's a bit of a sore question, but do you believe that?
Well, I think with Chandler, I think win, lose, or draw, this is going to be his final fight. I think he said it before. He's here for a good time, not a long time. And he's here to make a big name for himself, get out there, become a star. And that's what he's doing now. He's doing like reality TV in America. I think he did like The Masked Singer. He did like Deal or No Deal. He's probably going to be on like Celebrity Bake Off or whatever. And I think that's fine. I think that's a good way to make money and a good living and make money for his family. So I think that's great for him. So I think fighting someone like Conor, he won't get to replicate that again. So I think this is his big one, no matter what. Go off out on this high, win, lose, or draw, and then just go be that celebrity that he wants to be. I think that's perfectly fine. And I think with Conor, he's now coming to a very difficult place in his career because if he loses this, it's over for him, isn't it? There's no doubt about it. That is it. But if he can win, he can maybe still have that one last chance because I think we're all kind of forgetting who Conor McGregor is. I think we're all looking at going, oh, he's this washed old fighter, but he's lost to Dustin Poirier and Khabib, two of the best lightweights of all time. I think we all need to just chill out a little bit and see what he can do because if he's going to make his chance now, this is it. He has to take it and he's got to go running. And so if he can beat Chandler, he can get another 2-3 fights and maybe fight for the title and have that one last run that he desperately wants. And I think the UFC want it. And I think a lot of fans are interested in seeing that run. So I don't think he's going to retire after this fight.
Well, this is almost one of them high-pressured fights where it's like we say it a lot, but it is a must-win for both of them. I see it as that anyway. They probably think very differently, but with Chandler, yeah, I mean, he's got a lot going on as well. You know, Conor, I could probably level with you there. If he does lose, and if it is in like a finish style, I can probably agree that is it for him. I mean, they can romanticize it as much as they want with the new McGregor Forever series, that kind of thing. But a loss is a loss. And that's it. You know, you can sugarcoat it as much as you fancy. But I mean, yeah, Chandler's got his finger in a lot of pies. He'd be able to go on if he did win. But then you look at it and you go, yeah, but would Chandler beat Islam? Would Conor beat Islam? But just before we finish, Dwayne, just for a little bit of fun, what is your very, very early prediction for Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor, the actual fight in 30 seconds or less?
Well, it has to be Conor, I think. Michael Chandler has all the tools to win. He's a decent striker. He's a fantastic wrestler. He's got great cardio. He's got great strength. But he fights like an idiot and he's got no chin. He's going to come out. He's going to love the entertainment factor. He's going to love the crowd. And I think Conor McGregor is going to slice through him. I think over 5 rounds, there is no way that Conor's left hand is not connecting with Michael Chandler's fragile chin and he's going to knock him out. And I just think that's true. I think that's going to happen. I love Chandler. He's one of my absolute favorite fighters of all time. I just don't think he's got the IQ and that sort of stability. Right, I could win this. I think he's just going to come out wild and get caught.
That seems to have happened in quite a few of his fights as well, doesn't it? You know, like
basically all of them.
Charles Oliveira, I remember he said, I like to give jiu-jitsu guys my back. Why? Why do you like to do that, Chandler? I mean, I was originally all the way through until this week, actually, when I started thinking about it. I was the same as you, like, Conor, surely he's going to slice through him. But then I thought, well, Chandler's very much in someone's face, isn't it? He doesn't fight like, you know, necessarily from a distance. He's got a hell of a lot of power and maybe inactivity, that kind of thing for Conor. I don't know. Maybe I'm just playing into it. But I think so. My very early prediction, which will definitely change, is Chandler by finish. But I do believe that no matter who wins, will be a finish and we won't see the 5th round in this fight. And I also believe, I do think that's all we've got time for. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help us out.